to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, men and women police and fire services. When you're out there and you see somebody in uniform, please let them know you know they're there. These are very difficult times for men and women in uniform. We also dedicate these programs to the doctors, nurses, and first responders to COVID, since it's coming around again. Tonight, we're asking everybody just to keep a good thought. There's just too much violence out there, and this week we lost another speaker. Whether you're conservative or you're liberal, it doesn't make any difference. The loss of life is not good for anybody, and there's still. So if you could just keep a good thought or a prayer for Mr. Kirk and his family. Tonight we're joined. This is Frank Carroll. I'm the host. We're joined by Dr. Tony and Mr. Bernard Fernandez. Everyone knows Bernard as being a well-known sports writer, especially on fights. A member of the, he's an author and then also a member of the New Jersey, as well as the World Boxing Hall of Fame. So, Bernard, we want to welcome you back. We always enjoy you being here, and I know you're on a time crunch because of your alma mater. So we're going to start out with you. Tank Davis seems to be looking for a fight with Jake Paul. What's your thoughts?
You know, I don't particularly like the carnival aspect or some of the carnival aspects of boxing. You know, Jake Paul, I have to give the guy credit. He knows how to market himself, and you know he's done so very successfully. You know, but I don't believe personally. I don't believe that his quote unquote victory over Mike Tyson was real. I mean, I know Mike Tyson needed money, you know, and Jake Paul's and his entire house of cards is built on him winning these fights. So, you know, but now, you know, you're talking about Mike Tyson at 59, about to have, you know, an exhibition bout, you know, with somebody who is, you know, Floyd Mayweather, who's like 60 pounds lighter than him. One's, you know, Mike Tyson's 59, Floyd's 48. And this is being promoted or put together by John Skipper, the former head of ESPN, and Mark Taffet, who was the pay-per-view guy for HBO. And it gives it a veneer of legitimacy, you know, and it bothers me. It bothers me that it's great sport. What passes for big time boxing now is you know, even tonight's main event. Yes, it's a big fight, but it's not as big a fight as it could be or should be. And I think that's a lot of that owes to the two fighters, Canelo Alvarez and Bud, you know, Crawford. I mean, yeah, we can get into that, but I've looked at this sideways, up, down, you know, every kind of way that you possibly can, and it's not as big a fight as it could have been or should have been. And how we got to this point is emblematic of all the ills that have befallen boxing, and why it is no longer as great a sport as it was when I was covering it.
All right, let's get to because I know Tony has some feelings about this fight. Tony, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your thoughts are on tonight?
First, I want to say I agree with everything Mr. Fernandez said. And of course, you know how I feel about the whole Jake Paul thing. And he just took the words out of my mouth as far as what I've been saying all along about Tyson and Jake Paul. That was just a comic act for money. That's all that was. I don't believe that was a real fight. I think he goes to behind-the-scenes contracts on that one, for sure. But I'll let that go. That's, you know, been said and done. This fight is going to be a good one. And, yeah, there's a lot of people that are saying, you know, they're leaning both ways, obviously 50. I don't see how it's possible, personally, that Crawford can win the fight.
Can you hold on
When
just a
they
second?
rehydrate,
Okay, I'll put you right into the system.
probably about 20 pounds heavier for one. And on top of that, he's not going to knock Canelo out. I mean, the best he's going to be able to do to win the fight is to beat him on points and then get the decision, which I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. So,
okay.
I'm saying Canelo either by knockout or decision.
Okay. Well, guys, we're joined by Zito. Zito, what's your thoughts on tonight's fight?
First, I want to say hello to everyone. Yeah, this is it's interesting because you have a guy that's moving up 2 weight divisions, and he's not going up to fight to test himself against a guy, a ranked guy 2 weight divisions up. He's going 2 weight divisions to fight the boogeyman, and rarely do you have a guy moving up 1 division to go beat the boogeyman at the next division.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is, to me, it's almost, this is greater than, to me, Sugar Ray Leonard, although he moved up, fighting Donnie Lalonde.
What's the score?
Just because, the quality of competition, to be honest, at a certain weight. With that said, to break the fight down, oh my goodness. Both guys have avenues to win, and kind of clear avenues. With Canelo, it's size, and obviously, he's going to weigh, a little more than he's going to weigh. Substantially, he's going to come to the ring substantially heavier than Crawford. And also, Canelo is a guy. People think that he's a guy who's going to come forward and do this. Him and Crawford, they were kind of like the same thing. These guys are astute counterpunchers, and they are good at reading you and baiting you into kind of doing what you want to do. So these are 2 guys who tear conventional boxers up. Mm-hmm. This conventional basic boxers, these guys tear them up. I don't care how fundamental you are, and these guys are, they're going to tear the basic boxer up. Mm-hmm. So Crawford has to worry about Canelo on that end too. Mm-hmm. With Crawford's advantages, his major advantage in this fight are lungs. Mm-hmm. Are lungs, but the problem with that to me is that he's moving up 2 weight classes, so he's putting on extra luggage, and with extra luggage, that can affect your lungs. With that said, I still think he does have the lung advantage. Canelo tends to take the breaks in the middle of the fight. He starts out pretty fast, and then he'll drift off a bit, and then he'll go and he'll try to finish strong. Okay. Crawford, to me, can if he stays consistent and if he bags enough rounds, then Canelo's going to have to fight a comeback fight, and I don't know if he's going to, if he can win it. Mm-hmm. When I'm saying this, I'm saying everything legit, as far as us and boxing eyes. I'm not now judging. Judging's going to be hard to me, and I think that Canelo, he right now he's in a lose-lose situation. He said that before he signed the fight to Crawford. He was like, "I fight Crawford, I'm in a lose-lose situation." Well, to me, he's almost has to win this fight convincingly, because if the smaller guy comes up and puts on a good performance, he's going to get the benefit. Win or lose, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt from the judges. Mm-hmm. So, that is working against Canelo. Okay. How do I think the fight's going to go? Oh, man. I think that I legitimately think Canelo's going to win on points. Okay. Just because it's kind of hard to go out of your comfort zone and dominate. Right. Especially, to going 2 weight divisions up out of your comfort zone to dominate. I just think I think Canelo is going to. I think he's going to legitimately win on points. Whether he's going to get the judges nod, I don't know. Okay. All right. We've had our journeyman, and we've got now our
technical expert. Now let's go to the real expert. Bernard, your thoughts on the fight tonight?
I said that this fight is a big fight. It's certainly a big fight compared to what's been happening recently, and the boxing world needs a big fight. But it's not as big as it could be, and there's several reasons for that. Let's look at Canelo. I mean, Canelo has won his last 6 fights on points. I mean, and they weren't all against certified killers. And let's be perfectly honest about this. The fight that we all wanted to see Canelo have, which apparently is never going to happen, is with David Benavidez. And that's a fight that should have happened, apparently will never happen. And you know, so why is that? Was it because losing to Bivol, made him more cautious in his approach to fights? But anyway, that's on him. But now let's take a look at Bud. Was it all that long ago? Actually, it was 1921 when Bud was dropped by Top Rank. Because Aram said Bud is simply not a draw, and he absolutely can't sell pay-per-views. It's like pulling teeth to get ESPN to fund fights for him. Mm-hmm. We've lost money in every fight he's done. Well, now he's in a fight where he's getting, I haven't seen the contract, but he's supposed to be getting $10 million, and Canelo's getting $150 million.
Right.
I can't fathom that, why he would take a fight for 1/15th of what Canelo's getting. I can certainly see why Canelo would do that. But why is this a fight that, to me, Bud is also at fault? Mm-hmm. Because, in taking this fight, he's quoted as saying, Boots is not a mega fight. Virgil Ortiz is not a mega fight. This is the tail end of my career. They're going to say you were supposed to win. I won Canelo Alvarez. That's the only fight I won. Okay. I guess it makes a certain amount of sense until you look at this. Terrence Bud Crawford last had 2 fights in a year in 2019. He had 1 fight in 2020, 1 fight in 2021, 1 in 2022, 1 in 2023, and 1 in 2024. Now, it's hard for me to say that somebody is a superstar. Look, he and Canelo are both going to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. But if he's going to say Boots is not a mega fight and Virgil Ortiz is not a mega fight, well, why in the last several years has he not fought either one of them? Is it the same reason, that Canelo has not fought David Benavidez? To me, that both of these guys have questions that they have coming into this fight. Mm-hmm. Why didn't Canelo fight Benavidez? Why has Crawford been a 1 fight a year guy when in 2021 Aram said that he was basically unmarketable on pay-per-view? Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, both of these guys got here the wrong way. I would have been a lot happier, for this fight to happen had Canelo fought Benavidez, had Bud Crawford fought Boots and Virgil Ortiz. And one of the big things that's being said is about the weight difference. It's reality, but I'll throw out a couple other things at you. Jack Dempsey over Luis Angel Turco. Ray Leonard over Donnie Lalonde, yes. But, there was a vast talent gap there. But I actually have to confirm this, that I actually picked Donnie Lalonde to win because Ray hadn't fought, it was his first fight since beating Hagler 19 months earlier, and only his second fight since Kevin Howard in 1984. That was like 4.5 years. So there was there's some question about the rust factor and another long layoff for him. Bernard Hopkins over Antonio Tarver. Remember, Antonio Tarver was, had 2 wins over Roy Jones Jr. Bernard Hopkins was coming up. That was a fight that Hopkins wasn't supposed to win. Roy Jones over John Ruiz, vast talent gap, also a vast weight gap. Manny Pacquiao over Oscar De La Hoya. Evander Holyfield got screwed on a majority decision, lost to Nikola Valuev, but he should have won that fight. I don't put as much stock into the weight difference as some people are, because if the talent is superior, the superior fight's going to win. Now, I don't know that you can make a case that Bud Crawford is better or is more talented than Donnie Wan, but I think that they're both getting here the wrong way. Bud's been too inactive, and Canelo has basically gone into a shell, and he's ducked Benavidez. And I'm sorry, I can't get as excited about this fight as I should be. If they had gotten here by doing some of the things that I just talked about, I'd feel a lot better about it.
Well, you brought up a couple names in there that I have on my list here, and the one of them was Boots and Crawford. You say, and Crawford says he didn't want to fight him. The other one was I wanted to ask you about was the Virgil Ortiz fight over Tom Welling last week. What was your thought on that one?
Well, that's another guy, who I think the thing with boxing is that some of these fights get put off. They talk about letting them percolate, or whatever it is, and that's why we waited 5 years on Manny Pacquiao and I'm looking forward to this fight, but I feel bad that I am looking forward to it because how they got here, they took the wrong paths, and I think that Crawford and Boots Ennis could have been a mega fight. It should have been a mega fight. Why wasn't it a mega fight? Boxing, or true boxing fans, had they pitched that the right way, it could have been a mega fight, and it would have certainly legitimized him having this fight with Canelo. Canelo would have been more legitimized if he hadn't had 6 decision wins, because he clearly, he's clearly not the same guy. His approach to boxing is not the same since he lost to Bivol, and I don't know. I guess I'm being an old man, which I am, who longs for the way boxing was and is no longer the case. And after this fight, what's the mega fight after this fight? What is possible mega fight after this fight? I mean, I don't know what it is, because these guys don't want to fight anymore. It used to be that the best wanted to fight the best, and you didn't put it off for 5 years or 6 years.
Okay, Z, why don't you step in here, Z? What do you think the next win is?
I'm going to take it back. I have a few things I think, but right now I'm going to take it back to Sugar Ray Robinson. Right now, I'm going to say this. But us as we are boxing experts and boxing fans at heart. We're nostalgic, and unfortunately, we're in an era where we're going to fall victim to nostalgia every time, because we're not going to get that. Sugar Ray Robinson, he lost to Randy Turpin in England, and that was not a built-up hype fight. That was just a kind of stay busy fight. But guys fought stay busy fights. a lot. And I understand totally where Bernard is coming from, because I mean, right now, guys aren't even fighting busy, stay busy fights. Keep your eyes on them. Stay attracted to the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how you promote boxing. Boxing, to be honest, can promote itself. You don't need the large pay-per-view, all this. I remember, as I say, I'll take it back to Wild World of Sports. The accessibility promotes boxing,
Mm-hmm.
and when you turn off, you're making every gate this much. You're making the pay-per-views this much. Now the fighters are only fighting this much. So you're really reducing your eyes on boxing. Boxing is not an every week thing like it used to be. It used to be almost an everyday thing. Friday night fights. You always had, prime time main media boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you don't have that. You have to go to YouTube. You have to go here. You have to search for any regular fight.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, that is kind of what keeps your eyes off of these guys. And as a result, these guys aren't fighting. They're preserving their bodies. They're doing not as much work. I'm not going to say little work, but they're not doing as much work as in 1980 that the fighters were doing. And they're getting paid much, much more. So, I mean, there's a balance there, but as I say, us as boxing fans, we fall victim to nostalgia.
Okay. Hey, Tony, you were watching the prelims tonight. Why don't you fill the audience in on what you saw?
Yeah, most people don't watch the prelims. I mean, the arena was dry, but the first fight was an Egyptian guy. There was a prospect, Al Muhammad, I believe, Sultan Al Muhammad, and he was fighting another. Actually, I think they were both actually very, very green. And it was just a battle right from the beginning. I mean, it's just the type of stuff that you want to watch right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was second round knockout where Al Muhammad got the win. Let's see here. And then it was followed up by another fight that we just saw. One of the. Hang on 1 second. I'm just trying to get back to it here. Write it down. Apologies. Susami, a Japanese 22-year-old fighter, was fighting Ken Javier Martinez that was coming back, who's fought in the past, and was trying to get back into the ring. Managed to do so, but got knocked out hard in the first round by Susami.
Mm-hmm.
And Susami, I believe, is the one that fought, if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the Ryan Garcia fight you were about 4 to 6 months ago that they did outside. And that kid is definitely one to watch. Even Max Kellerman was just like, oh my God, look at this. This guy is unbelievable. So keep your eye on Susami. He's going to be an up-and-coming fighter. Right now, the third one is going, I believe, Dylan, and I'm not sure who the other guy is here. I don't know much about either one of them, so I really haven't paid attention to that yet.
Okay. Hey, Z, let's just jump over to UFC. Benoit Saint Denis and Mauricio Ruffi last week.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get to see that one.
Okay, it was a pretty bloody, actually, bout where Saint Denis again won by a landslide. It wasn't even close, but when Caden gets on, Caden has to work a little late tonight, but he'll be on about 8:00, 8:05. So we'll get him to go over those. Bernard, I got a question for you. A good friend of ours is Jesus Christ. I'm blanking on it. Let me ask you about Chocolito and Robles for right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is straight up, because you know what my circumstances have been since my wife passed away in May of last year. That I was in a dark tunnel for a long time, and my daughters were worried about me because I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to see anybody. Mm-hmm. I wasn't writing hardly at all. Although I do have, my next anthology should be coming up, but that's going to be the last one. Okay. And quite frankly, I stepped away from boxing, but I'm not writing for any websites right now. I'm not writing for Ring Magazine, and when I had a 30-something year relationship with them. Mm-hmm. But it got a little bit different, and first of all, I'm not commenting on the magazine. Magazines look beautiful, that the ones that are out now. Mm-hmm. But when I was told that I wanted 2 writers who were introduced to turkey allocation, that they were not, there was one of his associates who said, you're not supposed to look him in the eye. You're supposed to look down, and refer to him as Your Excellency, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I just said, well, I can't imagine what I would do if I was told that. Mm-hmm. And what I basically concluded was, well, they didn't ask me to write for him anymore, but that's just as well, because if I had been asked, I'd say no, because mm-hmm. I couldn't work for somebody under those circumstances. I mean, it's just disrespect for the, mm-hmm. for not only the writers, but I don't know. I mean, I've worked with promoters, King, Aram, mm-hmm. They had massive egos, but they got nothing on this guy. Trust me.
Right. The name I was trying to think of just came to me. It's we have a good friend. His name is Keith Thurman, and he lives right down here, not too far from me, and I get a chance to see him in the gym quite often. He's coming back in after a real long layoff. What's your thoughts on that one?
Well, if Manny Pacquiao can come back and look as credible as he did his last time out, and get world ranked again at 46, mm-hmm. Why not Keith Thurman? Yeah, I mean, because let's face it, Larry Holmes. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he's the king of the comeback, and Ray Leonard, mm-hmm. But the thing is, for every let's talk about Ray. I mean, when Ray came back and beat Hagler, it was like, okay. I mean, he reinvented the idea of the comeback. Mm-hmm. But I was also there when he got it handed to him by Hector Camacho. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all have, whatever our professions are, we all have a beginning point and an end point. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Keith Thurman return as the guy he was. I just don't know that he is anymore. Quite mm-hmm. frankly, I'm not sure that Canelo is that guy anymore. Right. Because once again, he's coming off 6 decision wins. All of a sudden, is Bud Crawford, does he want him? Because he's the baddest guy in town, bad Leroy Brown, or is he seeing the guy who basically has been running on automatic pilot for 6 fights? Mm-hmm. Which is why I think that this fight, it's a big fight. Both guys are going to the Hall of Fame, but they're not who they were at their best. And I'm not really sure if they both have their best anymore. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to presume that Bud Crawford is as good as he was when he's fighting once a year for five years. Right. And don't give a quote that Boots is not a mega fight, Bird Dog is not a mega fight. Right. I only want. They could have been. Right. they could have been if he'd actually, fought more than once a year for 5 consecutive years.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing is, he's coming in kind of, I'm not saying as a fraud. He's not a fraud. He's a terrific fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Canelo. But, this is not the best versions of themselves.
Right.
And that's why I'm going to feel a little bit guilty, watching this fight,
Mm-hmm.
when the main event comes on after LSU beats Florida,
Right.
But, I feel bad about this because I used to look forward to these fights,
Mm-hmm.
like a little kid on Christmas morning,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and a lot of that has left me. It does. I want to see this fight, but I don't want to see it as much as I might have had they arrived here and come in a different route.
Uh-huh. All right, Z, what's your thoughts?
I'm gonna take it back to Keith Thurman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He looked good in when he came back to 154.
Mm-hmm.
He came back in 154. I forgot the guy was Justin something. He fought him and he stopped him. And Keith looked good. His power looked good. He looked sharp. He looked on point.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was comfortable in that weight. But now he's scheduled to fight Fundora.
Mm-hmm.
And Fundora, as we all know, Fundora is like 6'3", long reach. And last time we saw Fundora, he was knocking Tim Tszyu out. And so right now, I think Fundora, Keith Thurman is fighting a confident Fundora.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, I'm not going to speak on the fight, but that right there is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till that fight goes on, but Keith is doing it. Right now, he come back and he's looking good. So it's yet to see.
I did get a chance to see him sparring, of course, and he. I don't think he's lost a step. My question is, every time he gets in the ring lately, in his last couple fights, he's broken something, and I just hope that he's recovered enough for all this time off that he doesn't get hurt in the ring, because he's ripped the way he always was. He's fast. His hands were really fast. I used to love to watch he and either Coach Bob, who's his coach now, or one of the other guys in the gym there, especially with Edner Cherry. The two of them could go at it for hours at a time, and neither one of them got winded, and both of them were fast. And when he was using Cherry as they both each used each other as a sounding board when they had something coming up, and neither one of them gave up on each other. Man, it was dog eat dog in that ring, which was fun to watch. It really was. And but Tony, what's your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
On
my thoughts
on Keith Thurman.
Like I was saying a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, I love Keith. And I really hope the guy he can come back and do it. I really do. The guy is just a down-earth guy, great boxer. I love the dude, but I think it's going to be very difficult to take Fundora down. Fundora's on fire. He's towering inferno for a reason. He's got a long reach. I don't think, for Thurman's got to get up in his face. Well, I mean, go to the body. It's easy to go to the body, but that's all he's going to have. It's going to be very difficult to get up high.
I'm going to put you right in.
And Fundora's been in a couple really big bloody battles here lately. And I think that's what's going to carry it. The fact he's been in here doing this and just going all the way from, A to Z, and Thurman is kind of in and out here and there. I just don't. I hope he can do it, but I just don't think he can. I just don't think he can pull it off.
All right, guys, we're joined by Mr. Caden J. Carroll. As everybody knows, Caden is our UFC MMA expert. So I know he's driving home from work, but let's get him into his mode here. Caden, what's your thoughts on Benoit Saint Denis and Mauricio Ruffi?
Yeah, I think it was a great outing from Mauricio. From Benoit Saint Denis, definitely. Getting the second round submission over a guy who's been undefeated in the UFC, part of the team who, since before that night, were undefeated in the UFC. To go in there and knock off a top contender like that after losing 2 out of the last 3 fights, that's something special right there. So I'm glad to see his turnaround. But I do like Mauricio Ruffi, so I was a little sad that he lost. But Benoit Saint Denis, he fought well.
Okay. Hey, Bernard, there's a fight coming up with Darren Schwell and Andrew Tate. What's your thoughts?
I have, once again, I get back to what I was saying. I have stepped away a lot, and there are a lot of good fighters right now who I have not seen much of over the last better part of 2 years. And a lot of that had to do with my
right.
bereavement issues, with my wife. One thing. You mentioned Fundora. With his reach. He doesn't. For having as long a reach as he does for his weight class, he doesn't throw jabs. He throws fewer jabs than anybody, which is why theoretically a guy could get inside on him. Because Fundora actually invites that because his money clutch is the uppercut, the right uppercut. And that's how he knocks people out. So and that just observation. On that, but I'm sorry. I'm mostly retired now. But a lot of it has to do with the state of newspapers. But every big newspaper in the country used to have a boxing beat writer.
Right.
Now hardly any of them do. And newspapers are not the same. Boxing is not the same.
Right.
And I'm not the same. And so I'm probably not being a very good guest right now. And hey. I don't want to sound like I'm dumping on the fight tonight.
No.
It's just that I think that it's not what it could have been or should have been. It is a big fight by today's standards, but today's standards are not what they used to be.
Right. Kate, let me ask you about Bo Nickel and Rodolfo Vieira for 322.
And who?
Rodolfo Rivera.
You're cutting out of it. I hear
Bo Nickel and Rodolfo Vieira.
I don't know who that is. I do know that he's taking a break from the UFC right now. So that must be someone that he's wrestling right now, because he's in like a little wrestling league or something right now. I know he's taking a little break from the UFC. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to let you off that easy. How about Brad Allen and Mauricio Vittori?
You're kind of cutting out a little.
Yeah, okay. I was asking about Brad Allen and Mauricio Vittori.
No, I don't know anything about that fight.
Okay, that's coming up for 322. All right. Z, what do you think about Sandoval and Teal? I'm sorry, Turgey.
Sandoval and who? I'm sorry.
Terjay, Teragaj.
I don't know about him. I know about Sandoval. I have to see what Sandoval's doing. I may have to see the guys fighting and all of that. Sandoval is he's a very dirty inside-outside guy. Correct. He's the guy who beat Teofimo. And just simple as his footwork. He beat Teofimo for footwork. This was Teofimo a few years ago. Not too long after the Cambosis loss. And I like Sandoval, but he's getting a little older, and I have to see the guy play. If you don't mind, speaking of Cambosis, I wanted to ask Tony this. There's talk with Hitchens, the guy who just stopped Cambosis. He has called Lamont Roach out, and Lamont Roach says to respond. What do you think about that?
Who called Lamont Roach out?
Hitchinson, the guy who just stopped Cambosis in the last fight.
I hope they'll bring it on, because I mean Lamont Roach is a bad man. I want to see that. I mean I really like to see him in Gervonta first, but obviously I don't think it's going to happen again. But yeah, I think Lamont Roach right now. I think he could take it.
Okay, what do you think about it, Bernard?
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing I just said. You know that I have largely stepped away. I have not been following most of this. The reason I'm following, the fight tonight is because it is the closest thing to a big fight that there's been probably in a couple of years. But I don't want to be like some people. One, especially on ESPN, that likes to commentate on boxing when he does not really have that much of a background in it.
Okay.
I don't want to. I want to try to fake my way through something that I'm not.
Yeah, sure.
Well versed on as I should be.
Yeah,
it would have been
one of the things that happens every time we have you on is we get emails lauding the way that you're able to bring everybody into the conversation as far as the fighters and anybody that's online. And everybody seems to really enjoy, and that's why I keep calling you back to get you on. We always have a spike when we put down the week as we put down. As soon as I talk to you, I put it on the line that we're going to have you. We have a spike of about 15 to 18% higher.
I feel like I'm failing you right now, though. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's ask the panel. What do they think? Z, what do you think?
I'm fine. I am absolutely fine. Bernard, you take your time. I mean, we're fine.
Tony?
I've seen the ratings. He's correct. As soon as they mention you're coming on, that's probably the best trade we get, sir.
Yep. Caden?
Yes, sir. A thumbs up for me.
There you go. See, Bernard? Everybody loves you. Everybody wants you on. In fact, we would love to have you come on a weekly or monthly basis, whatever you feel like you could do. We'd love to have you.
Well, maybe Canelo and Bud wouldn't want me back on after they just heard me kind of bad-mouthing the fight tonight. And really, I'm not bad-mouthing them as fighters or the fight itself.
Right.
It's just the state of boxing has, I was going to say evolved into something else, but it's sort of devolved into something else. I go back to the era of the Four Kings, with Hagler and Leonard and Duran and Tommy Hearns, and when these guys would fight like 3 or even 4 fights in a year. I'm not a fan of quote unquote mega fights happening once a year or once every year and a half or something like that. And that's one of the reasons why, look, there was a 5-year wait on Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. And that percolated or was left in the back burner too long.
Right.
And they got such an incredible amount of money. I don't know if the $150 million purse for Canelo is accurate or not. But why would he want to take tough fights? Or why would he want to fight more than, once a year? Or but, if that's the way it is. I mean, now. The money has gotten in the way. I mean, it's gotten in the way of all sports. The Phillies may not be able to sign Kyle Schwarber because he's going to want $35 or $40 million a year for like a 4 or 5 year contract. And I just wish that we could take a step back and sort of resurrect certain things that used to be and apparently are gone forever. Not the least of which, I mean, part of how boxing has evolved, there's no more HBO boxing, there's no more Showtime boxing.
Right.
Everything is being put on pay-per-view, even the fights that don't deserve to be on pay-per-view. This fight deserves to be, it could be on pay-per-view. It's on Netflix, but I don't feel good about sport as much as I used to, and I wish I still did. So I'm sorry. I guess I'm apologizing, but
no, you're adding to the program. You're not detracting in any way at all, and we really appreciate you giving us the time. Caden, there's another big fight tonight: Diego Lopez and Jan Silva. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's a big fight for Brazil. I'd say it's one of the biggest fights for Brazil that we've seen since Charles Oliveira last fought. Definitely, maybe even bigger than that. Who knows? I mean, you know how these Brazil fans are. They love their fighters. They love that jiu-jitsu, that kickboxing, and Muay Thai, and that is what this main event's going to be. I think Diego Lopez's wrestling and his okay and up to par striking will beat John Silva, but if John Silva, he's so explosive and dangerous and quick too. People don't talk about how quick this guy is, and he's a big dude as well. He's one of the bigger featherweights that you'll see. And I think he can be a real title contender as well. Say he beats Diego Lopez here, the only person left for him to fight would be Alexander Volkanovski. So, I mean, this is just a massive fight for both of the fighters. And I can imagine the energy in that building is insane right now. You know how those cards in Brazil go.
Right.
Those fans love to get crazy. So I'm gonna take Diego Lopez for a rebound fight here. You know, I still think he fought well against Volkanovski. He didn't do enough to win that fight, but when you're fighting one of the best to ever do it, you know, certified the greatest featherweight of all time, and Alexander Volkanovski, I'd expect him to not do the best, and he did okay. So I think he'll rebound against the easier opponent and John Silva. Okay. And I think that he learned some stuff from that Volkanovski fight as well. So I'm full on Diego Lopez tonight. Okay.
Z, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to go with Caden on this one. I'm going to go with Diego Lopez too.
Okay. All right. And one more for you, Caden. Alex Pereira and Megamov Ankalaev. They got a rematch coming up.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think, I said this going into their first fight, and I think it had, I think it played a big role. That attention for Alex Pereira is setting in. You know, he is. When people think about John Jones, what's the first thing they think about? They think about what he did in his career, his legacy. They don't think about his future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Alex Pereira is the only guy who is 37 years old. He's 4 days younger than John Jones. And people still talk about his future like he's a 20-year-old fighter. You know what I mean? And it's just because he was defying y'all. Like, he never slowed down. He always looked the same. And then that last fight against Ankalaev, I think he was setting in a little bit. He looked slower. There were a lot of punches where his output was just off. You know what I mean? Like, he had so much less volume. His quality was less. His speed was less. His power was less. And he was kind of almost getting like bullied up against the fence a little bit in that fight. I really do think it was just he didn't have the energy. It looked like he lost a spark in that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think this second fight will be any different. You know, obviously power is the last thing to go, and so is the IQ. And Alex Pereira is one of the smartest, most powerful fighters we've ever seen in the UFC. So he's definitely still has a puncher's chance. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going with Magomed Ankalaev.
Okay, good. Hey, Tony, Nunez and Diaz met earlier this last week. What's your thoughts?
Did anything get signed?
Yeah. Nunez actually won the fight.
Oh, I missed that one completely. I apologize. I was out of Division 1 this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Just so everybody knows, we're lucky to have Tony back here. He's been fighting an illness for quite a long time, and hopefully he's on the mend now, or will be very shortly. So Tony, we appreciate everything. I know sometimes it's hard for you to be on here with us, not feeling very well, but you certainly carried out great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been it kind of hits me when I least expect it. Don't know it's coming, so It's been kind of rough, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, Bernard, what's your thoughts on Jaime Mangoya? You know, he tested positive for PED, and now he's saying that it was a false positive. I don't know. You think is that just a sales pitch from him, or is that to get off the ban, or is that what?
You know, there's an old saying about building a better mousetrap. You know, I think that the thing with PEDs, obviously, they're more scrutinized now. Fighters, you know, there's more testing. Mm-hmm. There's more positive, tests being recognized, and penalties levied against the fighters. Mm-hmm. But I think those things have been around for a long time, even before it became a cross celeb, in Major League Baseball and track and field. Mm-hmm. I think they're always going to be there. It's just more difficult to determine in some cases because somebody's always going to invent a better masking agent. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as Jaime Mangoya is concerned, what he's saying might be absolutely true. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people that are just going to say, well, if you test positive, then it probably was. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it is, because we don't know. I mean, I know I did, I did a long interview a few years ago with Victor Conte, and he said, that he would be willing, to be a consultant to boxing, to help identify, who was and who wasn't using. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want him involved because he was a big part of the problem when it was a bigger problem. So I just don't know. I mean, you want to believe that all your favorite fighters, your favorite baseball players, your favorite football players, whatever, they're all operating clean. But the reality is, none of us know with 100% certainty nowadays. And I don't know. I hope what he's saying is true. I mean, there is such a thing as a false positive, you know, and there's also a thing like just having your hand caught in the cookie jar, you know. And
exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, I just wish that wasn't still a topic, but it is probably always going to be a topic to some extent.
Okay. Caden, Robert Winokur wants to move up to middleweight. What's your thoughts?
I don't think he has a bright future there. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. So this is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I don't like that move for him at all. I think there's a lot of dangerous guys at middleweight, more dangerous than what there was at welterweight. I mean, with welterweight, he has the addition of Islam Makhachev as champion, so I could see him being a little, less motivated to go try for a belt in that division because you got, the number one pound for pound. But you go up to middleweight and you have Hamza Chimaev, the guy who broke your entire jaw in the last time you fought each other. So I mean, I don't think there's a lot of good fights for Whitaker at middleweight, but I can see him getting a little tired with welterweight, maybe taking some waters to get some new opponents. Also getting later on in his career, I could see him not wanting to take as many weight cuts and just really a little bit more comfortably. He's been the UFC for a long time. He was champion in like 2015, 2016, and the UFC before that. So this is a seasoned vet. I think that'd be a reason why he's moving up, but I think for his career wise, middleweight, I don't think it's the best option.
Okay. Well, guys, it just about brings us up to the end of our hour here. Bernard, I really want to thank you for coming on with us. You always bring a lot of insight, and you always bring a lot of friends with you. So we're always this mic is always open to you, and the door to the house is always open to you anytime you get to Florida again. And we appreciate your time tonight. I know you're going for your alma mater tonight, and that should be a good fight.
Well, just one last thing, Frank, and that is that I certainly hope that my appearance on the show tonight wasn't fraudulent.
Nope.
I mean, because there's a lot of questions you asked me. I've been invited to go to the Boots fight, in Philadelphia, and it's been a while since I went to a fight live, and I don't know what kind of reaction that my appearance, if I'm there, will draw from people. But I've loved boxing from the time I was a child, and my father was a welterweight, and about
yes.
Here in my home office, I have the poster of Archie Moore in the main event from the 1940s. My dad's name in the top undercard bout. So I was born and raised with boxing, and I just wish that I was the same and boxing was the same that it used to be, and so thank you for having me. I hope I haven't spoiled tonight's program. Before
you leave, can you give us an update on your anthology coming out?
Well, it's at the printer. It should be in the next week or two. That'll be number 6, and that'll be the last one that I have. I do plan to have a 7th book, but that's going to be about my 59-year relationship with my late wife, starting from the time we started dating when she was 15 and I was 17, and almost 56 years of marriage. It'll be an extended love letter to her, and other than that, I guess I'll wait and see if anybody wants me to do anything, to write anymore. But if not, I had a nice long run. I enjoyed it, and I appreciate all the friends I've made in this sport, including you.
Thank you. Really appreciate you. Zeke, you want to lead us out?
Absolutely. First, thank you very much, Bernard. We appreciate your time always. Thank you, Katie, for joining us. Always a pleasure. And good to have you back, Tony. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, too, Butch. I want to thank all my Fightnwords family. These shows are definitely in memory of Bob, Coach Mel, and Dr. Chris. And if anyone wants to hear any Fightnwords, please do call.
Tony?
Just like to thank Mr. Fernandez as well. Thank you, sir, for coming back on. It really is a pleasure being 54 years old and hearing you with your stories and everything that you've got and the places you've been. And just, I look forward to when you come on. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys as well. I got Pete and Bunny package for those of you who want to get Canelo tonight. We'll talk about that next Saturday. Plenty of special items in there for you. And love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week.
Caden?
Of course, Butch, Mr. Z, Mr. Tom. Thank you guys for having me on. I know I was a little late, but every single Saturday night, it's a blessing just to get on here. Mr. Tony, I've been training for you. I'm glad you're sounding better. But hope it was a great week and a better night tonight. You got Canelo and Crawford on tonight. So I'm sure everyone out there will have a great night. But see y'all next Saturday.
Okay. Well, I want to thank all of you for being so well prepared, and we really appreciate everything you do every Saturday night with us, and especially when that we have some gracious hosts in. We can't say enough about the people that come on and join us, and Bernard and his background. One of the things we do say in our write-up is that we do fights from today, this week, this month, this year, and yesteryear. So as a boxing historian, and as much as you've been around, you really add a lot to the program, and I'm sure that's why we get the spark every time that you're on. So, ladies and gentlemen, these programs are brought to you each and every night of the week in grateful appreciation to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the women, police and fire services, the doctors and nurses at the hospital, as well as the first responders and the wonderful people in the market that keep our shelves stocked. These programs are dedicated to those who've lost their lives in the line of duty. Deputy Robert Anthony Carroll, Patrolman David Curtis, Patrolman Jeffrey Colcat, Patrolman Jeffrey Yazowitz, Sergeant Thomas Baitinger, San Diego Officer Mike Hendler, Sergeant Tom Wilson, Charlotte County Sheriff's Department, Detective Ricky Bell to Detective Ricky Childers, Detective Randy Bell, Patrolman Charlie Condit, Tarpon Springs Police Department, Deputy Chief Mike Godwin, Philadelphia Fire Department, Lieutenant Joyce Craig Lewis, Philadelphia Fire Department, Sergeant James O'Connor, Philadelphia Police Department, Sergeant Chris LeVake, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Mike Zerba, Newcastle County Police, Patrolman Anafa Crispin, Lakeland PD, Deputy Josh Meyer, Nassau County Sheriff's Department, Patrolman, Captain Matt Letourneau, Philadelphia Fire Department, Captain Chris Leach, Wilmington Fire Department, Lieutenant Ardith Hook, Wilmington Fire Department, Lieutenant Jerry Ficus, Wilmington Fire Department, Chief Jimmy Ford, Wilmington Fire Department, Chief Al Hogle, Longview Cape Police Department, Deputy Mike Hargrove, Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, Trooper Chelsea Richards, Florida Highway Patrol, Trooper Joe Bullock, Florida Highway Patrol, Trooper Zachary Ben, Florida Highway Patrol, Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, Philadelphia Police Department, Sergeant Ramon Mendez, Philadelphia Police Department, Chief Corey Compantier, Battle Creek Fire Department, and Deputy Ronnie Ronazitsky, Manatee County Sheriff's Department. My brothers and sisters, although you may be 10-7 at this point in time, at some time will be 10-10 at the table of the Lord. Until that time, may the roads rise up to meet you. May the winds be always at your back. May the rains fall softly on your fields and the sun shine lightly on your face. Until we meet again, may the good Lord keep you and your family always in the palm of his hands. Good night, God bless, and have a great week.